Rethinking Heroes. Life after the military.
I've spent a decade taking a bite out of conspiracy theories, unraveling urban legends, and grappling with worldwide top secret issues.
I've even racked up some of their awards.
Wow, first of all, what a question.
Journalism is about telling the truth.
All while ferreting out the bottom line.
I'm a Harrison Hellraiser.
With me, Cary Harrison, as your guide.
Rethinking Heroes. Life after the military with Cary Harrison.
Cary Harrison with you, and this is Rethinking Heroes, rethinkingheroes.com. Don't forget, you can sign up for our free newsletter at rethinkingheroes.com, rethinkingheroes.com, where we'll be sending you some exclusive stuff that we cannot do on the radio, including transcripts and videos and other cool bits of this and that. So make sure you do that. Also, we have a Substack channel, which is connected. Keyword, Rethinking Heroes, including all social media. Keyword, Rethinking Heroes. Make sure to follow and like us, as the Kardashians would say. And I can't believe I mentioned the Kardashians. Okay, let's get serious here. I'm going to do a special show for you because financial literacy is key. It has never been harder for any of us. Interest rates are the highest they've been in 35 years. We're all being crushed. But there is a way to get money out of this system. It's just something we were never taught in schools. In fact, we were never taught it at all, except if you lived above the clouds in Mount Olympus, pushing that Sisyphean boulder way up the hill, it only rolls down to smash you. But if you can get above it, well, there is a technique, and I'm going to tell you about it right now. In this day and age, borrowing money is tough. Now, from listening to this station to really any station and any other listeners, how tight funds can be and how difficult it is simply to make ends meet. The days are gone where you could go in and see your local banker, an actual live, living, breathing human being, an upright mammal banker. Remember those? You might be of an age where you might remember such a thing. Yep, you could walk in a door. There wasn't a guy standing there with a gun. Times were different. You could walk into that guy, you knew his name, he knew you, he sat at a desk, and you could do what was known as regular banking. Today, we're going to talk about how you could be self-sufficient. And this is so critical during life. It's one thing to endlessly do stories about other people, what other people go through, as if life is a giant gossip machine, and much of it is in the U.S. But when we can help each other and make each other's feet solid, particularly veterans who have no chance to do anything. California even taxes their benefits. It's so shocking and appalling. Many of the other arms of the government aren't even aware of this, but somebody passed this through, made it sound like a great idea. So many of us, whoever we are, have such an extraordinary ladder up which we have to climb that it seems impossible. The world, the economy, geopolitics, so unnavigable, so unpredictable. So I'm going to just start with a story that happened to me. I bought a condo. I never thought I would. I never thought I could. And I happen to have at the time, a really good credit rating. So I bought this condo. And I'm paying, let me tell you, these interest rates, I am crushed for the rest of my living life. However, I went to refi it. And this is before the rates went up to 7 point, whatever they are, percent. And they were still at 3%. So I was going to get a refi. And I went to my accountant and I said, okay, here's everything. Let's do a refi. The accountant waited and waited and waited. And the interest rates went up. And I'm yelling at the guy, you've got to file it now. You've got to do it now. These interest rates keep going up and up. And so it was insane. Needless to say, 3 months later, 3 interest hikes later, I finally got this refi, which now makes me basically retail investor. And I'm screwed. It didn't do what it wanted to do. And I didn't know any better. I thought that simply by talking to an accountant and them understanding that they're just going to actually go do it. Guess what? I learned, like you, like me, that we are all at the self-serve pump, that if I don't organize it, I don't motivate it, I don't maintain it, that it's not going to happen. And so it's very important. So borrowing money, getting access to money. Without it in the United States, you're dead. Let's pretend, I don't need money in the United States. I can do whatever I want. No, you exist at the pleasure of your credit rating. And now our own Congress is talking about taking that credit rating and pegging your ability to fly on an airplane with your credit rating. Now, that sounds pretty shocking, doesn't it? What is the reasoning they say? Somebody with a low credit rating could be down and out, and they could be dangerous, and they could want to hold up the plane or hijack it or pull out a plastic fork and stick it in the neck of another passenger. Yeah, if you have a low credit rating, you probably are agitated, but it has nothing to do with your travel. But this is part of control. This is not part of actually caring how you act on an airplane. Example, if you have in recent times flown first class or business class, you got upgraded somehow, or maybe you just bought the ticket. You were handed a metal knife in first class and business class, just like the old days, a metal knife. So tell me this, why does someone who pays $200 more on an airplane get a metal knife, whereas someone who does not pay that, pays coach, gets no knife or a plastic knife if you're lucky, or a spork? What evidence do we have that people who pay more cause less problems? I would argue that at the very top, the people controlling this idea of credit ratings, the billionaires, the people that control big pharma, do more damage to society at large with their access than does any normal person who, if you ask them, hey, what would you really like? I'd like some clean water and maybe a decent education for my kids, and probably, like, I'm a woman, I want to walk on the streets and not worry about being raped. Like, that to me would be good, like a safe neighborhood. This is the stuff regular people want. So it's BS when you pay $200 more and you get a metal knife in a plane, but everyone else has to use a spork. That is my analogy. With that comes the game of your credit, your ability or inability to be able to go to a bank, get a loan, and survive, because you can't. It is not available to you, the general person. An actual live, breathing, human, upright mammal banker. Once upon a time, good old days, if you remember the Beverly Hillbillies, there was Mr. Drysdale. Probably not the best example of a banker, but hell, he was over at the Clampett's house begging for money every day, but a live banker. He was an accountable touch point. And I can tell you, as Cary Harrison here on Rethinking Heroes, rethinkingheroes.com, where you can go and get a free copy of our newsletter, which will include a complete transcript of the discussion you're going to hear on how you can fix your credit rating, how you can improve your credit rating, and how you can get money off of your own credit rating without needing any kind of documentation, a decent job, or anything that they tell you that you have to have. This is a secret that you haven't been given, but a fellow listener who's very smart, very capable, filled with these kinds of insights, has done so much deep digging, started a business, and figured out how normal, regular people could pull this off. Right now, you and I are nothing more than a general irritant to a bank. You get to enjoy hours of AI voice response units, which ultimately will not connect you to anybody with any power to do anything to change the horrible situation you have found yourself in. You call Bank of America, for instance, press 5, press 7, go back to the loop, press star to go back to the main menu. This is not an accident, by the way. A lot of you listening come from a place of power. Just because the station is down and out does not mean the listeners are down and out. If the listeners were all down and out, the station would have disappeared 30, 40 years ago. So many of us have good educations and have pulled it off in life. And we know that at the highest levels, they conspire. I'm going to say it. They conspire. There is a reason that TNT, formerly known as Pacific Bell, formerly known as Illinois Bell, New Jersey Bell, whatever, used to send you through these basically single mother systems and never empower them to fix your problem. And you would spend 2 hours going around and around and around on your phone bill. They had no power to fix it. You got so pissed off, you hung up, and they knew that most people would just give up, and the company got to keep the money. It's the same thing with these banks. They put you through these voice response units. You go around and around. You get nowhere. Once you do get a live person, they're outsourced. They have no power to fix your problem, and they can barely understand the nuances of it. And it's nuanced problems that are the problem. It's not the easy stuff. Oh, you have the wrong number in my account. It's the nuanced stuff. You told me that I was traveling, I would have travel insurance or assurance if my bag got delayed. Sir, we're sorry, we're not going to cover that because a delayed bag is different from a stolen bag or a lost bag. Please tell me what you mean by that. It's the same thing depending on the situation. Now, you're never going to even get that far. They're just going to say no. So we're going to teach you today how to get a yes. You deserve in your life a yes. You deserve a yes for everything you do. So that's what we're going to be looking at. If you're in Europe, you lose your job, you for 2 years will have the government kick in for your rent. Why? Because they do not, in Paris, in Germany, in Switzerland, in Italy, in Great Britain, they do not want to have sidewalks full of people living on tents, excreting, drawing rats, and literally dying like zombies. Not a good idea. So people know using their tax money, which means it's not a la carte. It means it's a group policy. For literally pennies, they don't have this problem. Nope, done, conquered, handled. Oh, because they handled it. And this, again, gets back to finances. If you lose your job and the government kicks in, so you don't lose your apartment, you do not end up in a tent or having to go get a brand new apartment at market rate. You get to stay where you are. The government helps you eat, feed yourself. Your medical care is completely baked into your system, 100%. And your retirement. Oh, my God. You'll never end up on the sidewalk. You'll never end up homeless. You'll never end up starving. The government is not offering you a gift. People rise up in Europe. They rise up and they demand their governments do what the people say. Right now in the United States, 63% of my tax money goes to the military. And what do I get for that? Yeah, that's the sound of dead air. I'm still waiting for the answer. What am I getting for that? Maybe 900 military bases dotted around the world and all the occupants in those countries not loving me, thinking they're my military bases. But what do I get for that? What happens if I lose my job? I'm self-employed. What happens if I lose my self-employed job? How is that all that money going to the military helping me? Look, more dead air, more non-answer answers, nothing, zero. So it's time for us also to grow up and push this government, especially the ones who say, no, it can't be done. It can't be done. We've never seen an example of a train on tracks that goes from A to B and it's clean inside. Really? A lot of them spend a lot of time in Europe. So that's called a lie. And they need to be busted on that. You and I have great work ahead. We won't do that in this program, but I'm going to teach you how to hold your government accountable and get your needs met. You know, Los Angeles in the 1920s had the best public transportation on the planet. We had electrified trolleys that went from downtown all the way to the ocean for a dime. Took about 20 minutes. It's a nice distance, but a dime. Even in Glendale, you could take a trolley from here to there. If you've ever seen the movie Chinatown, it's all in there. They recreated all of this. Beautiful infrastructure, best in the world, stolen later by Europeans. Like, this is brilliant how they've done it. Then in comes General Motors that builds these things called cars. And on every car is 4 Firestone rubber tires. And so they retire. They pay off the city council. It's called corruption. We have one of the most corrupt city councils in the world. In fact, you ask anyone in the world who is the mayor of Los Angeles, they have no idea. Can you name one of the council people? Nope. How is that possible? The second largest city in America, the media capital of Earth. You don't even know who the mayor is? There's a reason for that. Paid off, pulled out all the trolleys, which are half of them are floating on barges off of Long Beach, halfway under salt water now. These are teak, beautiful Pullman cars, all gone. But the tracks exist under the tar. If you go down Santa Monica Boulevard, all the way down to the Pacific Ocean, guess what's along the side of Santa Monica Boulevard? The original railroad tracks from 1916. You could pull the cement up. You could reactivate them. You could put light rail on them, but it's never going to happen. And that's a problem. This is how things are sutured together. This is how the dots are connected. And this is why you need to be empowered to take care of and take charge of your own finances. The transportation stuff, how we get to the government, another lesson for another time. But today, we're going to talk about our sadly, oddly, cruel system, despite the fact we invented the European medical system after World War II, where they all get unlimited all-you-can-eat medicine as part of their taxes. We were about to implement it here, except that there was too much profit to be shared, and having many broken toys cost a lot more to fix and was better for the doctors, always at market rates. Because we all know, you, Timmy, Mildred, Jared, Jennifer, me, Cary Harrison, I will pay anything to stay alive. If we're told we have a chronic disease or we have a really terrible problem, we will pay anything. Sell the house, sell everything. We will pay anything just to stay alive. That's the system, and it knows it. The European systems, which we invented, conquering Germany, France was devastated. Japan was blown to smithereens. We knew cultures could never reemerge if they were all just sick and dying everywhere. So we made sure that their infrastructure, through their taxes, that they would never get in that position again. But we ended up with the Weimar Republic situation. That's the one preceding World War II in Germany that brought rise to fascists because people were so upset, so in pain. Our version of living in tents in their own excrement on sidewalks as we do in public, it is just so outrageous. So here we are today. Banks are tightening up guidelines or just stopping funding programs altogether. This leaves business owners, like many of you, with very few options in regards to funding. America has some 350 million people. 80% of us are some sort of small business. We're self-employed, or like me, I'm a gig worker. I'm a digital nomad now. Jesus, that's pretty frightening. It's kind of like a diet, and I have lost some weight doing it. So what is really left for you and me? We have to try to find investors. Oh, good luck on that. Pardon me. I'm going to go find some investors. I'll be back in an hour. Or my favorite, I'll just borrow from friends and family and leverage and ruin our own family's personal credit in order to start to grow a business that I have in my mind that I'm not really going to explain to them because they don't want to know. More dead air. Not going to happen. Here's another interesting hard truth. If you want to buy a car or a house, you already know that your credit is a factor that can make or break a deal. Are we lucky to have a deal with credit ratings? Woohoo! Does any of us like it that we're reduced to a series of numbers? No. But being able to navigate those series of numbers going forward, that's the skill set you don't know about. And that's the skill set you're never going to lose. Maybe you think opening a bunch of credit card accounts is going to increase your credit score. That's the answer. I'll just open 50 credit cards. My credit will go through the ceiling, and I will be like Donald Trump. The truth is, biting off more than you can chew in this case of credit cards can often result in disaster. Keeping up with all the due dates. Let's see, Chase is due on the 30. Was that 30-day revolving? What is a revolving cycle? What's a cycle? That's 6 full-time jobs. And if you're late with even one of your payments, you are toast. Maybe you also think that just paying off your loans early will increase your credit score. Ha! Turns out prepayments don't affect your credit score at all. But they didn't teach me this. They didn't teach anyone this. Paying off your installment debt won't fix your credit score at all. It's actually, get this, and it's hard, it's better for you to keep the debt open and pay it off regularly each month. That means holding tons of debt, but paying it off regularly each month. It's counterintuitive, But this is the only way you're going to build a credible history of on-time payments. All this to say, you are learning the inside track, and I'm about to bring on the world's greatest expert who is going to be offering you something that you've never had access to before. I'm about to introduce you to a woman hero who has found a way through this miasma of misery. Oh, I like that. Let me write that one down. Through this miasma of misery that so many millions of us continue to encounter and leaves so many hopeless. She's been a public radio listener for many years. She's actually found the educational resources to put together something to help the rest of us, especially during these times when money is tight, if not impossible, for so many of us. You're going to hear about something you're not taught in school. It's not discussed on financial shows on TV. And for decades, it's been the secret that the most successful entrepreneurs have used. And we're going to rescue you today. I've always been a huge fan of life hacks, and a shortcut that can improve anyone's situation is one that needs to be freely shared. Let me introduce you to Sara Weldon with Trufinco. She's going to teach you how to access funding that doesn't require any financial documentation, no taxes, income or employment verification. What? Yes, here in the United States. And the very rich are doing it. They're getting away with it. That's how they get away with it. You need to know their secret. This makes it a perfect choice for both startups and established businesses instead of this type of funding relying entirely on the strength of your personal credit score and profile. And with that kind of strong credit that you can build, you'll be able to leverage that to get you up to 150 grand in business credit that comes at, ready for this? 0% interest for up to 2 years. What? Interest rates are like 7, 9%. Nope. Not through her. She's figured it out. She's like you. She's like me. She couldn't take it anymore. And she went and she figured out, so how are these rich people doing it? And she's going to give us that secret. Business credit doesn't reflect on personal credit. What? Yep. Which means as you use it, you don't ruin your personal credit.
Do you own an annuity, either fixed rate, indexed, or variable? Are you paying high fees and getting low returns? If so, Annuity General would like you to have this free book to learn the pitfalls and mistakes of buying an annuity. The Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers contains the little-known truths about annuities, like how to help reduce your fees and increase retirement income. And it's free. That's right, free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report just for calling. We researched over 1,000 annuities and summarized rates and benefits from financially strong insurers. You get Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and the Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling Annuity General today. Hurry, supplies are limited. Call now.
800-726-2194. 800-726-2194. 800-726-2194. That's 800-726-2194.
We are in complete control. We are Rethinking Heroes with Cary Harrison. RethinkingHeroes.com.
And it is Rethinking Heroes, RethinkingHeroes.com. Cary Harrison with your new best friend. Have I admitted more personal, intimate stuff to you in the last half hour, but I love it because I trust you and we have to trust each other. This is it. This is Hotel Earth and everyone gets a room. And we are one human family. And anyone who doesn't believe that, you are off, isolated, and you will wither. Stay in the middle of the herd, you will survive. Step off to the side, you'll get picked off by the nearest lion. This is the middle of the herd. Cary Harrison with you. And as we continue talking to Sara Weldon, we're learning about a new way to be able to finance. Now, so many of us, once again, have run into the impossible situation. That would be going to a bank and saying, hey, I need a loan for 150 grand. And they say, well, what do you have in collateral? And you say, nothing. And they say, there's the door. Have a nice day. Actually, they don't even say have a nice day. The security guy will escort you out. And that is the end of story, maybe forever. Well, Sara Weldon is with Trufinco, Trufinco. You can check out their website, Trufinco, True Finance Company, Trufinco. Her email is Sara@, and that's Sara without an H, Did I mention it was without an H? I think I did. Sara, Sara, at truefinco.com. And I'm going to give out a phone number too, so you can get in touch with her and find out and learn more about how this system works. Basically, if you want money, if you need a loan, if you want to change your life, if you want to learn financial literacy, then you need somebody who has actually figured it all out through living a life of hard knocks like the rest of us. Sara, will you run us through once again what credit stacking is, because it's such an anomaly. It's not taught in school. It's not taught in the subway. It's maybe taught in gentlemen's clubs in Manhattan and in the suburbs of certain areas. But for the rest of us, never heard of it.
Nope. It's been the best kept secret, but it truly is the best type of funding out there because it is available for everybody. Honestly, there's no income requirements. There's no financials needed. It's the best thing out there since sliced bread. And I want everyone to know about it. Really, the basic way of understanding this is we're stacking business credit. And business credit is the best type of debt because it doesn't show up on your personal credit. So if you have an LLC, the funding comes in the name of that LLC. So it wouldn't come in your name personally, Cary. So when someone pulls your credit report, this debt that you're running under your business doesn't show up. It's like hidden debt. Yes, you still pay it, but it's not going to be ruining your credit the way most business owners choose to fund everything with their personal credit. So we're stacking business credit in such a way, there is a fine science to it. People can do it on their own, but we've got it definitely figured out to where we're getting the best results, getting up to 150,000. But what makes it amazing is that it comes at 0% interest for up to 2 years. Now, I do all types of funding. I don't have anything as affordable as that. I mean, you're looking, a minimum payment for every 10,000 you spend is $100 a month. 100. So think about that. You start a brand new business. I mean, I used it to start mine. I'll be quite honest. We used $20,000 in business credit. And at first, when we had nobody calling us, our monthly payment was $200, which was totally sustainable for a new business. So it's the best type of funding for startups, existing businesses. Really, I don't know anyone that this wouldn't be good for.
I'm going to jump in for a second, Sara Weldon, because I'm so in love with this idea. Certainly partially, and I will admit it because it's forbidden. Because not only is it legal, not only is it how rich people, how successful businesses actually operate in the daylight, and that it's not taught to the rest of us on purpose, but that we're now finding out from you, a regular person who's figured out all this beautiful alchemy. And for $100 a month, which is all you'd have to pay on these cards, you would be able to have this extraordinary amount of money. So let me ask you this. Let's say I personally don't need 150 because I am not starting a small business, but my friend is. Could I create something like this using my credit cards to help a friend out or a family member?
Yeah, you actually could. So essentially what you're talking about is being a credit partner. So let's say, for example, your friend that's starting a business doesn't meet the requirements because you do need to have good personal credit, which for some people that is hard. I get it. But let's say you've got that great credit. You want to help your friend out. We can actually utilize your strong credit. The funding would come in the name of his LLC. So he would add you as a registered agent, wouldn't give you ownership. And now your friend has access to this amazing funding at 0%, and it's not hurting your personal credit. That's the key. You're not putting yourself on the line. You're not showing all this debt. And your friend now thinks you're the greatest hero in the entire universe. And you've done something amazing.
You would be
absolutely.
That. I'm going to give out a phone number because I'm already getting tweets. I'm seeing emails here. People are like, well, where do I go? What do I do? You can use the Rethinking Heroes hotline to give us a call, and we will connect you with Sara, and she can walk you through how this works. And all you would have to do, all anyone would have to do is make that tiny minimum payment of about $100 a month. You'd end up with up to like $150,000 at 0% interest at a time where interest rates are at a 35-year high. Imagine 0% interest for 2 years. It sounds impossible, But guess what? It's not. It is the reality, and it's how the big boys are doing it. All you have to do is call 321-3-HEROES. That's HEROES. That's our Rethinking Heroes hotline. 321-3-HEROES. 321-3-HEROES. That's 321-3-HEROES. If I haven't said it enough times, I'm going to say it 2 more times. 321-3-HEROES. 321-3-HEROES. And you'll be able to talk to Sara Weldon at trufinco.com, and you're going to find out more about how you can have access to this. And we're doing this special program today as a public service. So many of us are struggling just to figure out how to eat, how to run a business, how to keep your business alive, how to pay your electric bill, which has gone up almost twice depending where you live. Let's say you're in Orlando, Florida. We all know about Disney. And when the governor of Florida took away Disney's rights, if you will, suddenly the people in Orlando had to pay huge property taxes they had never imagined, sometimes even doubling or tripling. How do people pay for stuff? Well, credit stacking is a way around finding ways to be able to pay for stuff no matter what it is. If you want to do a refi, go ahead. 9% interest for 30 years. Unsustainable, unaffordable. Using Sara's principles, using these methods, you could not only get 0% interest on a lot of money, you could then put it in real estate. You could start flipping houses, flipping condos, flipping apartments, doing all kinds of things that heretofore were impossible to understand until we learned about this extraordinary alchemy. 321-3-HEROES. 321-3-HEROES. And Sara, you were talking about how this thing all works. If you could just elaborate a little further, because people come and go. They're driving around. This is in the mornings right now. So people may be on the way to here. They may be getting in and out of the grocery store. Some might even be going to church. So they might have missed the bottom line here. Go ahead and recap this for us.
Yeah, so capital stacking is really, it's using other people's money. Now, we all hear people say, I'm using other people's money, but have you ever had anyone explain to you what they're doing? No. They keep it a secret. They always do. And it's so frustrating. Or they'll tell you if you buy their expensive ebook or tell their course. I'm telling you, capital stacking is what they are using because it's the cheapest capital out there. So essentially what you're doing is you're stacking business credit. Now, business credit, magic type of funding. It doesn't reflect on your personal credit report. So it's like hidden debt. You still pay it, but it doesn't show up on your personal credit. So why this is incredible is because most people, when they run a business, they fund things through their personal credit and they tank their personal credit and they tie themselves to their business. With this, you're not hurting your personal credit. So essentially what we're doing and where the magic happens is we have figured out the way, and we're not the first ones to think of this. Trust me, we've got great partners that we do this with. I'd be a millionaire if I'd figured this out, I'll be quite honest. But what we're doing is we are strategically getting credit cards so that one doesn't see the other. Now, this is totally legal. I want to be clear about that. But each credit card company pulls from a different bureau. So you have to be strategic and apply to one, apply to the next one and the next one. So they all don't see each other. So they think, hey, I'm the first and only business credit card this person's getting. I'm going to give them a $30,000 limit, 0% for up to 2 years. And each card will basically have the same thing, which is how we're able to stack and get so much. And it's amazing. It comes in as little as 2 weeks. You can be done with this. We don't need tax returns, bank statements, none of the stuff that you're asked for when you go into the bank. And it shocks people. Everyone's always like, do you need my financials? No, I don't need anything. I don't need any of that. I mean, in fact, the application take you about 10 seconds. So it really is this best kept secret that I want the whole world to know about, because it's a great way to, I mean, honestly, do anything. I don't pigeonhole it into just being good for this. It's great for everything.
Cary Harrison with you. This is Rethinking Heroes, rethinkingheroes.com. We're talking to Sara Weldon, and we're learning about the peculiarity of U.S. financial laws. Many of us down here at the bottom of the pyramid are stuck with so many regulations, so many rules. It is impossible to move Sisyphean-like that boulder even 1 foot up before it rolls back and smashes you right in place. Well, if you get above that boulder, in other words, you climb the mountain a little bit and get above the clouds, you find out it is Olympus. The gods play by different rules. What Sara Weldon is doing right now is breaking out what those different rules are that are not only legal, it is the normal business operation. And she's bringing that to us regular people right now and making it available so that you and I can use our credit score, our personal credit score, do it through a business like make an LLC, which you could do for a couple of $100 in most states. And through that, you end up getting a loan of maybe $150,000, which does not affect your personal credit. What you do through your LLC does not affect it. Let me ask you, Sara, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? Isn't it all the same thing? Apparently not.
It's not the same thing. And that's the biggest misconception out there is everyone thinks they have to do it through their personal credit because the bank tells them no, and they don't think they have any other options. This is the option right here. And I just want to be clear. So yes, the funding comes in the name of your LLC. It doesn't show up on your personal credit. However, if you decide, hey, I'm not going to pay any of these bills, they're still going to come after you and find you.
Right.
There's no way of escaping it. But the best part about this is that it's not hurting your personal credit, which is really the key to this.
And we're operating under the assumption that we're all going to be honest here. So what Sara Weldon is providing is the honest route that very successful people, this secret formula that they have had access to and have known about for a long time, it assumes that you are going to pay your bills, which are tiny. I mean, we've talked about this little $100 payment per month with a 0% interest for 2 years. Boy, talk about a cheap loan. It's literally free money. Of course, you want to pay it because somebody's lending it, and they would have a right to get angry if you don't pay and compel you. But we're going to assume that we're all going to play by the rules because the rules are what Sara is presenting us. Let's give you that number again. 321-3HEROES is our Rethinking Heroes hotline. 321-3HEROES, HEROES. I know. Not sure how to spell heroes. It's got an E in it. Is it tomatoes without? I don't know. It depends where you live. 321-3HEROES, HEROES, 321-3HEROES. Give us a call. You can leave a message. We will make sure that Sara gets it. You will get in touch with her and you can learn how to do this. Think of this as really master class level financial literacy. Plus, you get to take advantage of it. So unlike a webinar or a course where somebody tells you how to do it, and then now it's up to you, bye. No, you're not only going to learn, but she's going to help you get it done. So you actually walk away with what you want, which is that financial security, that ability to climb up the ladder rung by rung and finally realize your dreams. This is the American dream. It's just only available to the people that live above the clouds. Well, we're taking this elevator, Willy Wonka style, shooting it straight up through the clouds, through the glass ceiling. And now you have access to previously what was unavailable. You can call our Rethinking Heroes hotline at 321-3HEROES, HEROES, 321-3HEROES, 321-3HEROES. And as we wrap up this part of the conversation, Sara, is there anything that I have not thought to ask you or stuff that people bring up to you that we haven't discussed that might be important and relevant here?
Yes, you haven't asked me.
Okay, all right.
Can I? The big question I get asked is, hey, I have multiple LLCs. Can I do this for each one? And the answer is yes. Now, you do have to stagger it. So typically 6 to 9 months. But hey, if you have 10 LLCs, you can do capital stacking on all 10. Of course, you space it out, or if you have a spouse, you can do it even faster. But that's where the real money comes in is when you start having multiple companies and doing it through those.
So we're now talking About 100,000, 50,000, 150,000. We could be talking $1 million with payments of 100 per month on each of those LLCs. That's it.
Well, it's 100 for every 10,000. So if you, which is still very minimal. I mean, very, very minimal. But yes, and that's where people really, I have clients that I help do this with. And not only that, once you have it, it's not like you're stuck at that 150. You start spending it. Business credit operates different than personal credit. Those lenders start seeing you spending it and paying it down effectively. You're going to get credit line increases. You're going to get additional 0% offers. I have some clients on one LLC. I've been working with them 2 and 3 years, and we're upwards of 600,000-700,000 on one LLC because they've used it right. So think about that, and then multiply that by several companies. I mean, that's millions of dollars. We're not talking chump change here. You could have millions of dollars at your fingertips that you can operate with without going to the bank, without asking Brother John for a loan. It's your money. You are in charge of what you do with it.
So if I understand
Pretty
correctly,
powerful.
Sara Weldon, if I pay my little tiny amount every month, then I look good in the credit card company's eyes. The credit card companies are banks, after all, and they say, we like Timmy. Timmy pays his $100. We're going to increase the limit on his credit card from 15,000 to 25,000. Now I've got another 10,000 to play with. I pay off that little amount, and it keeps going up, and I keep getting more. And I mean, it's common sense, but again, it's been a big, huge secret. Cary Harrison with you. This is Rethinking Heroes Special Edition, Financial Literacy Edition, as we're talking to Sara Weldon with Trufinco, Trufinco. And she really is the master in this country of bringing what has heretofore been an impossible reach because none of us knew about it. We're not taught about it. It's not taught in school. It's not even taught in financial school. It's certainly not on CNBC. It's not on Bloomberg. It's nowhere, but it's how the big boys do this and successfully achieve their goals. She's bringing this down now to regular, normal people like you and me. And you could call our Rethinking Heroes hotline and we will connect you with Sara. 321-3-HEROES. That's 321-3-HEROES, HEROES, 321-3-HEROES. 321-3-HEROES. You can also go to rethinkingheroes.com and you can sign up for our free newsletter where you're going to get a transcript of this and other shows. You can also become a member on our Substack where we give you extra gifts and prizes, bring you people like Sara Weldon and give you more access and make your life easier. And that's something that I, as a radio guy for years, was always complaining about. When I started the gay channel on Sirius XM years ago, I did it because there was no common voice for a certain community, from Key West to Alaska, from West Covina to West Virginia. There was no way for a certain group of people ever to meet each other and find out, how do you go on a date? How do you tell the truth? How do you recycle? Who's the founding father? We don't have any. It's not legal, whatever. You could do the same thing for Native Americans. You could do the same thing for any group. And this group today, right here, right now, is you. We are people that are dealing in the most difficult financial times we have ever seen in our lives. And Sara Weldon has found a way through, not only a way through, but a way up and out, and a way that returns and replenishes and allows us all to access the American dream. All you have to do is call 321-3-HEROES, 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 and we'll make sure you get connected with Sara. And she's going to not only teach you about financial literacy, but she's going to help you get there. So it's not instructional. It's not the usual stuff where somebody's going to give you their ebook or give you their secret formula. Now it's up to you to execute it. Have a nice day. Good luck. You better have a lot of gumption and a lot of extra hours to really try to figure out what they just taught you. They're not available to actually do it for you. And when I say do it for you, Sara, let's talk about some of your success stories, people that you have done this for. In what businesses are they, and what are some of these success stories?
I do a lot with real estate investors, and I love those. I'll be honest, because these are the investors that are tired of working with the bank because the bank limits them. And I'm able to help them do multiple projects a year. So I'd say just last week, I helped an investor. I helped him not only different type of funding. I got him the loan to buy the property that's going to be a rental, but he didn't want to spend all his money for the down payment. So we used capital stacking. He liquidated it. There's his down payment. He didn't spend a dime of his own money, and he's borrowing it at 0%. So his payment is very low. It's a great, I mean, it was a great success story. Other stories, I'll be honest with you, the more heartwarming stories. We started our company right when COVID started, and all these businesses were shut down. But guess what? They still had to pay bills. So we were getting calls, people crying and saying, Sara, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have employees showing up. I can't serve anything, but I still have to pay all my bills. What am I going to do? And thankfully, we caught a lot of them before they ruined their personal credit, and they still had good personal credit. And we did this type of funding. And I cannot tell you, I thought some of these people wanted to come and like marry me. They were just so grateful for this help. I mean, think about it. Let's say you have $20,000 worth of bills you had to pay, and it's only going to cost you $200 a month if you want to pay the minimum payment. That's doable when you don't have any income coming in. So I was able to help people save their businesses. There's nothing more gratifying than that. I mean, I can't think of anything anyways, but those are the success stories. I mean, sure, I love helping people make money, but I really love it when this makes such a huge impact in your life. That's what really, really gets me.
What a great way to button up this interview. Sara Weldon with Trufinco, Trufinco, Trufinco.com. You could check out more. You should also call our Rethinking Heroes hotline. It's for free and for fun for you to call, and we will connect you with Sara Weldon, and she will change your life. This is why I brought her on today, because I've gotten to know what she does. I've seen it with my own eyes. And I could tell you, if I didn't share this, it would be, journalism 101, we're trained. It is not ethical to withhold information that helps people. So that's why I brought her on today. 321-3-HEROES. You can call our Rethinking Heroes hotline, 321-3-HEROES, HEROES, 321-3-HEROES. And we will connect you with Sara Weldon.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? Well, you call low-cost airlines, because they specialize in cheap flights, in discount hotel rooms, in cheap car rentals, and with the best price guarantee. They explore hundreds of airlines, thousands of routes, millions of itineraries and fares to keep it simple for you. So if you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. 901-235-1795. 901-235-1795. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available, often 75% off. So don't wait. Call now. 901-235-1795. 901-235-1795. 901-235-1795. 901-235-1795.
We are in complete control. We are Rethinking Heroes with Cary Harrison. RethinkingHeroes.com.
Just to help my eardrums, which are still horripilating in anticipatory delight, pretty much anybody can have business credit. So I have business credit, and let's say it's lousy. It does not affect my personal credit, which is the one that I need to do the regular stuff in life.
It's not weird. I mean, if you think about it, you want to keep your business separate from your personal. That's the biggest key. And the biggest mistake so many of us make, I made it, I didn't know any better. We tend to fund our business all with our personal credit because we don't know any better. We can't get a loan from the bank. So we just completely bury ourselves in personal debt, which then ruins our personal credit and then ties us in with our business, which is definitely something we need to avoid.
We're going to have some elderly people. We're going to have people in their 20s, people listening to the live stream, might even be in their teens. We've got a cross-platform blend of all kinds of people listening to this as a podcast, as a radio signal. They're driving. It's a bunch of different kinds of people who can use this kind of funding.
Everybody. And that's why I love it. This type of funding does not discriminate whether you are young, whether you are old. It doesn't discriminate whether you even have a job. That's the beautiful part about it. It gives us all an equal level playing field, whether you're a multimillionaire or you're working a minimum wage job. It's all an equal playing field because what it's looking at and all it's looking at is the strength of your personal credit. What kind of a borrower are you? And that's what enables you to get this high limit business credit. That's the beautiful part about this, is it really is for everybody.
So let's break this down so that we can understand what it is. It still seems a little vague, only because this is your world. I'm an English major, so anytime you mention math, I glaze over, throw up, and pass out. But walk me through, what's the process here?
Yeah, so really capital stacking, I'm going to break it down for you in a way that's so easy to understand. So the typical business owner, I'll say you start your business and you think, you know what, I'm going to go get a business card. You'll go out, you'll apply to, say, American Express. And depending on several factors, you might get approved for several $1,000s and woohoo, you get excited. So you think, I'm on a roll. I'm going to go apply for 5 more business credit cards because I need as much money as possible. So you go out, you apply, you don't really have a plan, and you end up getting 5 more inquiries and you get denials. And the reason why is because all these credit card companies, they're seeing, hey, Cary has new debt. He has a new inquiry. We're not going to give him any more money. So the way that
you sound like them.
I know I do. You know what? And I hate being told no. So that's why this is such a great thing. It's a very systematic approach. There's a fine science to it. But really, you have to understand which credit card companies pull from which bureaus. So whether they pull from TransUnion, Equifax, however that works, that's what you have to understand. And we apply in such a manner that one doesn't see the other. So we'll start with applying for American Express, pulling from TransUnion, and then apply for a Discover. And we know which ones pull from which bureaus. And the easiest way to understand this is like we're playing a game of hide and seek, but with credit cards. And that's the real secret, is because they don't see each other, they are all apt to give you an approval and a high amount. And so you stack that together, and that's where you come up with these $150,000 amounts of capital. And none of it requires any financials. So that's why there's such beauty behind this type of funding.
321-3-HEROES. You can call our Rethinking Heroes hotline, 321-3-HEROES, HEROES, 321-3-HEROES, and we will connect you with Sara Weldon. We're talking to Sara Weldon. She is with Trufinco. She is one of the big cheeses in the world of this, a regular, normal person who figured out the special alchemy that she's talking about. Cary Harrison with you. This is Rethinking Heroes, rethinkingheroes.com. And, you know, the obvious question I have to ask, because we are FC regulated and hiding one credit card from another, I get what you're saying. This is completely legal. This is how the big boys do it. Like, these credit bureaus are about as useful as an insurance company. They're invented, creative something or others that look and make a decision, publish it, and suddenly we're stuck with their determination. But like an insurance company with medicine, you actually don't need them in order to get medicine. You could just go to a doctor. I know it's crazy, but we have these credit bureaus that actually act in our orbit. They are the Death Star, and they decide what our numbers are, and we're stuck with it. You basically maybe put up a mirror in outer space so that it reflects back on the Death Star and it can't see the other Death Star. And it's completely legal, and it's what the big boys are doing. Am I somewhat close?
Absolutely. I actually like your description of it with the Death Star. It is completely legal. And I should have begun with that. It is a completely legal way of doing this. It's been around for decades, absolutely decades, but it hasn't been talked about. It's been what the best entrepreneurs have used to get where they are, using other people's money. And most people this day and age that know about it, they make you buy an ebook or watch their course to learn about how to do it. So what I've done is I really want everybody to have access to this and understand the possibilities of this. So I'm educating people, and I'm trying to do it in a way that everybody can understand. I'm not using big fancy bank terms. I'm trying to help everybody be able to understand that, yes, you can access this and you can make this work for you. And in my mind, the more people that know this, the better, because the more we can break away from the banks and find ways to be successful, that's my goal.
Let's jump into another issue here. Is there a cost to do this? That would be the next logical question.
To do this type of capital stacking?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Absolutely, you can do this on your own. You can do a lot of research and try and do it. But typically we find that most people fail, and we're able to get about 3 to 8 times the amount that you could get on your own. So yes, of course, borrowing money is never free. However, rather than having underwriting fees and, the typical bank loan fees that pile up, there's a one-time success fee, but it's paid at the back end. So it's paid after you receive your funding. You can pay for it with the funding. It's 9.9% of the funded amount. It's a great tax write-off. And I do all types of funding. And I'm going to be honest with you, when you pencil out the numbers, there is no cheaper funding, none. Even term loans, lines of credit, this pencils out to be a much better way to go.
So we're looking at accessing funding that doesn't require any financial documentation. I'm going to repeat that because I'm reading this here. We're funding that doesn't require any financial documentation, no taxes, income, or employment verification. I read that verbatim. True or false?
True. And that's the best part about it. And that's what makes everyone's jaw drop. And I'm going to be honest with you, Cary, most people, even people that have been in the finance world, don't even know this. And I'm on the phone with them all the time. And I'll be honest, it makes my day when I blow their mind and they tell me, Sara, I've been in this industry for years. I do multi-million-dollar transactions. You've blown my mind. I've been doing it all wrong this whole time. I'm absolutely going to change my direction and focus and do this. So it's pretty powerful.
321-3-HEROES. You can call our Rethinking Heroes hotline, 321-3-HEROES, HEROES, 321-3-HEROES, and we will connect you with Sara Weldon. And Sara Weldon, you're able to leverage this whole alchemy and get up to maybe $150,000 in business credit that comes in at 0% for 2 years. Now, how's that possible when the credit rating, if you went out and just got a credit card, it might be 0%. It's not going to be zero. Nothing is 0%, but this is 0% for up to 2 years. How is this possible?
So a lot of business cards, they entice their people with or new clients with offering 0% for up to 2 years as an introductory period. So we go after all the ones that offer that. And one might be 15 months, one might be 18. But there's a real strategy behind extending that. And I work with people and teach them this strategy. And you can do a balance transfer strategy to extend that 0% for years beyond that. And when you're at 0%, it's incredibly cheap capital. You're looking at a minimum payment of $100 for every 10,000. That's why it's beautiful for startups, because when you're struggling, you're just getting the doors open, you've got all your bills piling up. That's a very minimal payment as opposed to pulling out a line of credit or a term loan that's going to be thousands of dollars a month. That's what makes this so unique.
And with your special process here, where you've learned from the top most professional people and brought it down to the normal folks down here, where we can pull this off, the application takes like less than 20 seconds. It's a soft pull to apply, so it doesn't hurt your credit. And then you're able to give them some kind of funding offer or a decline, whichever, within 24 hours. And then going forward requires almost no documentation, proof of identity, just info. That's it. It's so simple. No wonder they don't tell us about it. 321-3-HEROES. You can call our Rethinking Heroes hotline, 321-3-HEROES, HEROES, 321-3-HEROES, and we will connect you with Sara Weldon. Cary Harrison with you. This is Rethinking Heroes. We'll look forward to seeing you again shortly.
Rethinking Heroes with Cary Harrison. Life after the military. RethinkingHeroes.com. Copyright Audiences United, LLC. All rights reserved.